What's up guys, and welcome back to 8 Count. Today we're talking about the much anticipated return of KSI, and it's finally been announced. 27th of August, he'll be back in the ring. So, where do we start? KSI, obviously we all know his boxing history. Started off fighting Joe Weller, then went on to call out both the Paul brothers, called out Jake and Logan after that. Ended up fighting Logan once in Manchester, and then the second time was LA. LA was his first professional fight and he won. Since then, which was November 2019, nothing to do with boxing, focused on his music career, focused on YouTube. And now he has finally made his announcement that he'll be returning to the ring. I'm excited for this. Everyone's saying, is he going to return to fight Jake Paul? And let's be honest, he's not going to do that. KSI's smart. He knows. He's already said it. He said if he returns now, or he said something along the lines of Jake Paul is the better fighter right now. And as he should be. He's been doing this boxing thing consistently since he fought Deji on the same card that KSI fought Logan in 2018. So I think how it's going to go is, well, what I forecast KSI's boxing career to look like is he has a fight on the 27th. He then will then have a fight, I'd say early 2023. And then maybe another one, but I wouldn't be surprised if next summer we see KSI versus Jake Paul for bragging rights, for all the cards, everything. Like, that would be the fight that everybody is waiting to see, and I think that can break stupid numbers. But anyway, let's slow it down. Let's break down what's going to happen. Obviously, everyone knows Alex Wasabi fought Deji, KSI's brother, and he recently just got wiped. Like, Alex Wasabi wiped him. Came out a lot better than people thought. He had good technique, and he was demonstrating, like, dictating the ring, how to use his pace, how to use his footwork, and we saw quite a good boxer from Alex Wasabi. There's also the names of Austin Mcbroom, again, a quick boxer, someone who's used to being in the sporting world. He was a D1 basketball player at college, so he already had that athletic background. We saw him get in the ring and fight Taylor Holder, but Bryce Hall. Fought Bryce Hall, and again, wiped him. Good footwork, good hand speed, good punching. And those are the two names which are currently floating around with KSI. I think we'll be able to see the best of KSI now. Think about it, right? We saw KSI fight Logan Paul. Logan Paul is the taller man by a good few inches. He has the bigger reach. He's very strong. Now, he's been mentioned with fighters around the same height as him, Alex Wasabi and Austin Mcbroom. So I think now we'll be able to see, instead of KSI being on the back foot and trying to hit the counter shots, we'll now be seeing him up in people's faces and being able to dictate the pace of a fight. We know he has the power. We know he has the heart. He's shown both of those in all three fights. What I think KSI should do is fight Alex Wasabi first. We can get that whole, like, I'm coming to seek revenge on my brother. I reckon he knocks out Alex Wasabi within the first 4 rounds. Then he builds up the fight for Austin Mcbroom. I still think Austin Mcbroom needs another fight before he has that big fight with KSI. Austin Mcbroom's huge in America. They can make that fight quite big. That can even be in America or US, but KSI is always going to be the A side for any of these fights now. Again, these fights will be a good challenge for KSI and different to what he's fought previously, because he's fighting guys who are lighter, quicker, and ultimately will have, I'd say, more punch output rather than having that knockout power. So I think we'll be able to see a lot different fighting style from KSI. We know he was training with Face Sensei, who was around that height, and he has that combat sport background. So we saw a little bit of sparring, and what I saw from that sparring footage was KSI hitting body shots, hitting combos, but that was one thing I didn't really see against Logan Paul. Like I said, when you're under the lights and when you're fighting the bigger man, it is quite hard to demonstrate those skills, especially if boxing isn't your natural sport. So I think with these smaller fighters, we'll be able to see more of that, and that's what I'm excited for. Legacy. KSI is all about legacy. I don't see him half-heartedly training to then go into boxing to just lose. He's not going to do that. When KSI puts his head to something, he wins. And that's the only thing I can see him doing. I can see him beating Alex Wasabi convincingly. I see him beating Austin Mcbroom convincingly. I can't think of anyone else who he could fight after that, apart from Jake Paul, to be honest. There could be a rematch with one of those fights if it was quite close, but I don't see that happening. Like I said, legacy. It's one thing that he always mentions, one thing that I see him doing. And he's just here to reclaim that crown. He was one of the pioneers of this YouTube boxing scene, and I see him going and taking that crown. That fight versus Jake Paul was the one we want to see. I'm not sitting here and being like, he's definitely going to beat these guys and he's just going to walk through them, because these guys know how to box. They're putting in the training, they're putting in the hard work, and it shows when they're having fights and they're beating guys convincingly. Boxing isn't easy. People can't just go in a ring and just punch a guy and just win. Nah, you can see technique within these fights. You see footwork, head movement. Like these are the things that you learn when you're training. So I don't expect any of the fights that I'm mentioning to be easy or walk in the parks. But KSI has been doing this for a lot of years. I know he's always said, even when he hasn't been since 2019 in the boxing world, he said he has kept up with training here and there. So it's always been something that he's had part of his lifestyle since he started fighting Joe Weller. So yeah, I'm excited for this fight. I know Jake Paul was apparently supposed to be fighting on August 13th, so it'll be interesting to see who he fights. We could see Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. I know Conor McGregor's been mentioned quite a lot recently because they've been having back and forths. Again, like when Canelo lost, Jake Paul was mentioning stuff like, give me 3 years and I'll beat Canelo, but that's just absurd. With Jake Paul, it's a tricky one. Like, he's always fought someone and he's kind of dictated the pace of the fight. With the Tommy Fury fight, I think that would be one of the best fights for him, purely because if he beats him, then we'll be able to say, all right, this guy, you can't mess with him. Like, he's fought a boxer, he's fought someone who has high punch output, which frankly Jake Paul hasn't fought. He hasn't fought someone with that boxing IQ or with that punch output. And I think when punches are thrown at Jake Paul, like the Tyron Woodley one, he was slowed down and it did take him quite a while to break down the fight. But yeah, I would love to see Jake Paul fight an actual boxer. Tommy Fury, I would love to see that happen. Again, that could go either way. Jake Paul could knock him out. Tommy Fury isn't the greatest fighter, but he does have that boxing experience, and I think that's what Jake Paul needs on his resume now. He needs to fight a boxer, and then a lot of people can stop speaking and stop giving him that smack. But back to KSI, 27th of August, we're going to see him enter the ring again. It's always a spectacle when he fights, and it's going to be amazing. I do want to do a video where I make my ideal boxing YouTube card, and I'll probably be doing that next, where we break down who I want to see fight who, and who I'd like to see on this KSI card. But guys, let me know what you think of KSI's return. Do you think it's going to fight Alex Wasabi, Austin Mcbroom, and how do you see those fights going? Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll be back again soon. Peace.